Hello, everybody. A warm welcome to Wisdom from North. My name is Janica, and today I have an incredibly inspiring and knowledgeable and wise guest on the show, Julia Cannon. Julia is the managing director of Ozark Mountain Publishing and Quantum Healing Hypnosis Academy. And she's the daughter of the wonderful Dolores Cannon, who has brought so much wisdom and knowledge to the world and recently passed away. Now, Julia has written a book called Soul Speak, The Language of Your Soul. And this book can be bought on my site. And it's about how we can heal our bodies with our minds. And today we're going to focus on the big questions of life, like why we're here and what life is really about and how we got the golden ticket. So Julia, much welcome to Wisdom from North. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Janica, for having me. It's an honor, truly.
Oh, it's an honor for me because I've been following your mother's work for years and I discovered you, I think half a year ago. And I was so excited to see that you were working so closely together and that you're now continuing this work. And I know that, you were a nurse for over 20 years and this was your big dream. And all of a sudden you shifted into doing full-time metaphysical stuff. Like, why did you do this shift? What happened?
The universe made me do it. It's funny. It was first gradual, but then at a point, there's like a point of no return. The universe just said, "Look, you have to do this. You can't play over here anymore. You have to get on this road, on this track, and there's things over here that you have to be doing." And I think when we set out and set a plan for ourselves, we have a point that we have to get doing things. And that's when we set a course and we say, you have to get, boy, I know, I'm sorry, so much information is coming in and I'm downloads are happening. And whenever you find yourself stumbling on words, that's what's happening. It's so much information is coming in very quickly. I believe that we set a course of actions for ourselves, and we have a blueprint of sorts, and we say, okay, I want to come in and experience X, Y, and Z, and have a course. And then at certain points, I want to get to this, and then I have a point that I want to accomplish something. But then there's a point that I have to get this done. And it's like if I'm not at it, then I can't get this other thing done. So it's almost like a point of no return. And so then I have to really give myself a strong message if I don't get to this point by this time. And that's kind of where I was at this point in time. And I had to hit myself over the head with a 2x4. And that was, I say it was the universe, but it was actually me, when in my book, I discuss that more, where we're saying the universe is hitting us over the head with a 2x4 or directing us, I really want people to realize it's not a God or this big being, victimizing us, or something, making us do things that we don't want to do, because it's us. We set a course for ourselves, and we are the ones keeping ourselves on course. We are the ones saying, hey, this is what we are doing. Does that make sense? I hope I
Yes,
didn't.
but
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
so curious about this because who are we? Because we
Right.
have this inner knowledge, and you're also talking about the higher self, the
Yes.
oversoul. What is that then?
Great, and thank you for backing me up there. I know I went off on us. That was because of that download. It was just,
You just got that download now?
yeah, that happens, and when it does, it kind of scrambles things for a minute, and I have to sort things through. So now it's sorted, I hope, and now I can make things rational.
Okay.
When we come in, or let's just back it up, we are great and powerful beings. We are these huge beings, okay? And we choose to have experiences. And some of them, earth experiences. We take a piece of ourselves and we drop them into flesh bodies.
Just a piece of our being.
Just a small piece of ourselves into human bodies to have an experience on this 3D plane, to learn things, to have experiences. Okay? And we can have all kinds of experiences. We can have them in human bodies, we can have them in animal bodies, we can have them in rocks, we can have them in plants, we can have them in all kinds of things. That's just to have experiences.
Okay, but you can contact this higher soul or this bigger part of you to get information. Is that where you are downloading information from now, for instance, or is it other beings?
Oh, no, it's just from yourself. It's just that's from that higher self, that bigger part of you. And that's just going, whoop, sometimes it comes in a great big download like that. And yeah, it could be other beings, but what's to say, and I'm sorry, I apologize if this is, you must have a really advanced listening audience.
Well, I do.
Thank you. Because I wanted to back it up and make it really simple, and they're like, nope, your audience doesn't need that.
Well, you're getting that information now?
Yes, incredible. That's why they're giving it to me like that. Because they're like, nope, they keep wanting to give it in this big, they don't need bite-sized pieces, they need it in mouthfuls. That's why they're doing it that way, because that's what they're okay with that.
Wonderful.
So they can understand what I'm saying, so I hope that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm going.
So
okay.
Let's speak more about this, how powerful we are, because I saw you doing a talk online on YouTube, and you were drawing that we thought we were like small dots and we were like huge.
Exactly.
How can we have that feeling? Because I don't have that huge feeling.
Right. And that's because on this plane, and that's what's so wonderful is at that dot, that's the only place of supposed separation. Once you get on the other side of the veil, because the veil is the only thing that makes us feel separate. Once you get on the other side of that veil, then you realize the connectedness and how big we are, how huge we are. You realize the expanse of you. And and that's it. And it's just that little bit, and then it's right there. And that veil is thinning constantly. Every day it's getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And the experiences, the abilities that people have coming in, where they're having more and more visions, they're seeing things, they're hearing things, they're feeling, the abilities that are coming in. That's where they're sensing into the other dimensions. The other dimensions is where they're sensing through that veil. Okay, that's that veil coming through, because that's all that veil is. That's another dimension. So
I mean, I've been curious because your mother, she for those who don't know Dolores, I bet everybody who's watching this, or at least my audience, know Dolores Cannon. She's so famous and she's done so much work and been doing this for such a long time. But she was regressing people. She was a hypnotherapist, and she based her work on what she observed and everything. But you seems to have abilities. Now, did Dolores have these same abilities?
It's interesting. Dolores claimed, she did not have abilities, or she said she didn't.
Right.
She wanted to stay the objective observer. Because they told her in the beginning, when she started doing the regressive hypnosis, they said, we can come through you. And she was like, no, that's okay. That's okay. You can come through the client, and I'll stay the objective reporter. And that way I can just ask questions, and I prefer that. And they're like, okay, that's fine. So that way she could keep her objectivity. But right here in the last, I'd say at least 5 years, maybe a little bit more than that, she was starting to hear. She was starting to hear them, get the messages, and she would ask me, is that what it sounds like? Is that what it is? And I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. So she was allowing it to happen. So it was happening.
Yeah.
And she had the gut feelings. She'd had that for quite a while. So it was happening for her.
Yeah, because I've been observing that it kind of runs in the family. Like if I speak to someone who was clairvoyant, I mean, her grandmother would be clairvoyant. It seems like it's, in the same family. But so let's talk about how we have this, have been very lucky to come to this earth, that we got this golden ticket. Like many wouldn't perceive it in that way,
Correct. Correct. I know, and that was one of the things, and to tell you how it first came, I'm still trying to remember exactly now where I first heard it. But when Mom was talking about how she would talk about Earth being the drudge of society, and it was the drudge of the universe and all this, and they put Earth way out here on the edge of the universe because it was so volatile and things like that, and I just, it was like, that just never, I just didn't like that, it just felt so yuck. And the messages that I was getting, and then what ended up coming through was that, I mean, it is volatile here. I mean, that's true. And it's a very dense planet. But what came through was that was by design. It's all by design. And then as it more and more came through was that it's, we are not here by chance. It's a very clever design. Granted, there's extreme conditions here, and there is, like I said, the volatility here and everything, but that's this other thing that has to be worked out. But the design is what's so creative, and that's what takes masters to do, and that's what he's talking about, the golden ticket. Not just anybody can come here. Like we said,
why? Because they're not evolved enough, or something like that.
Exactly. It's too extreme of conditions here. That's so, because it's so dense, because it's so, it's too. It's a very harsh. It's a very hard place to live. The emotions and all the extreme conditions and everything. It's a very hard place to be. All of these new souls that are coming here, it's hard on them, and they're warned. Please don't go there. It's really hard. You're gonna have a hard time. It's really hard, and it's like it's not for the willy-nilly. It's not for the faint at heart. So,
right.
Yeah,
so let's go more into these this work that Dolores have done in regressions, because there were all kinds of things coming up in these stories, like. In between lives and contact with Nostradamus, and can we speak about time? Like, how is this possible that this is happening at the same time?
Right, and that's probably one of the, because there again, time is an illusion. So that's one of the biggest complexes. Is reality's an illusion, time's an illusion. So what she was told is why she was able to do this, and why things look the way they look, is because we put everything in a linear fashion. Is we think things are moving day by day by day by day by day, and it's not actually the way it is. When you look at things as they are all happening. So don't look at it as if they're happening at the same time. They're all existing at the same time, or existing. And it's like, until we come up with a better word than time. And see, and that's what I think is going to be our stumbling block. We need to come up with another word. Because as long as we keep using time, that's going to keep messing with us. Because what I'm saying, it's everything's existing at the same something. Okay, because if I keep saying time, then our mind's going to keep going to time. But everything's existing at the same. Because I'm going to take you to a moment in your childhood, and you can relive that moment as if it's happening right now, as if it's existing right now. And it is existing right now, and you're back in your childhood, and it is existing at this moment. And yet you are right here at this moment also. See what I'm saying? So here, you are here and you are there at the same moment. So that person is alive at this moment, and this person is alive at this moment. All right? So, and that's what's happening in regressive hypnosis. You are communicating with two different life time periods. And then now you can go back to another lifetime entirely, and you're communicating with someone else. I mean, but it's still this person, but now you're, it's the same soul, but now you're in another lifetime. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just I get so many questions in my mind, because I'm like, well, but then I'm living everything at the same time, and then everything is just everything, and how can something that it seems like there's so many things at the same time, how is that possible? It's just my mind stops.
Right. Well, exactly. And that's where they said it's not it's our minds. They said the brain, it's not the brain, it's our mind doesn't have the concepts. But it's getting better. Our mind has the ability, 10 years ago, I'm trying to think when I was able to start even formulating some of these concepts. 10 years ago, it couldn't. But now I'm getting to where I can grasp some of it. So it's like we are getting to where we can, where 10 years ago we couldn't. And so we're getting there. Our minds are getting there.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because I can notice myself that 5 years ago I couldn't understand at all these concepts, and now I'm like, I've come a step further, and I'm opening up more and more.
Exactly.
It's interesting. Yeah. Because your mother was also talking about future lives and parallel lives.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's on that thing. So it's all a matter of that time element. So once you kick out the time, once you kick out that thing of time, once you know that time is an illusion, and you get rid of that, then you can put that whole, you can accept parallel lives, you can accept future lives. You don't have to look, they're not linear at all. It's more of a cylindrical thing. So it's, and I'm not, it's a matter of physics. Mm-hmm. Someone in physics could explain it much better than me. But has to do with, someone else said space-time events. Someone mentioned it that way, space-time events, and it's almost like you're dropping down into these different things from a central point. It just drops down into things, and it doesn't matter when and where they are. You're just dropping down into them from a central place.
But still, it's important to be here and now, right? To be in this experience.
Absolutely. The one that you're focused on is the one that is important to you right now. That's the one that has the lessons or the experience that you need to know right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. I'm just like picturing myself being in all these different parallel lives and these other experiences, and I'm like, is this going on? I'm just feeling this right now. But
and they're all wondering about you.
Ah, they are. So, but still, we are split into different beings, right? I have a very left brain sometimes. So I'm trying to understand. I just need I need to see it, because, you are your being and I'm my being, but still we're one. How is that? How can that be?
Like you said, it splits off. Well, let's go back to the big me, okay? Big me, if you remember my picture, and I, for those that don't have access to that picture, but let's just say you have big me up here, and then it has an experience. So it drops down, has a bit of it comes down to an experience. But let's say that experience can be in 2015, but then it also drops down into an experience in 1854, also drops down into an experience in 1522, also drops down into an experience in 2233, also drops down experience in the fifth dimension, also drops down into an experience in a craft on the planet, whatever, something. Okay, see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
It's just dropping down space, time, events all over the place to have experiences.
Right.
Okay, it's just dropping down, boom, 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 all over the place, all at the same time, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Okay.
Having experiences, and they're all shooting back this information to Big Me to compile it.
Okay.
And make data out of it.
And then, but do you believe that there's a source, that there's a, yeah?
Yeah, because this all feeds us back up to source.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's a mystery. Yeah, the universe is so mysterious. So let's go into your book. I haven't read it, but I've heard about it and read about it. And there you say that our bodies are designed to be, centuries old, like so much older than, it is now. And because it dies around, I would say 120 or 30, it dies, and even before that.
Earlier than that.
Yeah, most of the time. But I don't know if anybody has become older than that. So, why do we get ill?
Well, exactly. And that's what I like to say is here we have, our bodies are designed to live hundreds and hundreds of years and never have aches, pains, or illnesses. So why do we have all these aches, pains, and illnesses? Why do we have all these commercials on our TVs for all these aches, pains, and illness relievers? And why do we have all these people suffering all over the world? Why? Good question. And that's my belief is our bodies are terrific messengers. This is one way of delivering messages. We have a lot of ways to deliver messages to our bodies. Through, like I said, I got a big download a while ago. We are constantly getting messages, but a lot of times we will not listen. We don't hear them. And so our guidance system up here has to resort to other measures to get messages to us. And so through the body is, to me, one of the last resort measures.
What about this blueprint then that you were talking about in the beginning, that we actually have a plan and a blueprint? I mean, how solid is that plan?
That plan is a basic plan. That's probably more, it doesn't involve things like cancer. It doesn't have things like that in it. It's more of a basic life experience thing. Like I want to, like meet certain people and have certain accomplishments, things like that, and I'm going to do this by this point and like get to this stage, at these different points. The cancer comes in because you didn't get something done at a certain point and you're very angry about it or whatever, and you just got upset and you just didn't accomplish anything. So
but does that mean that we can actually fail?
Well, yeah, you can fail and you can, sure, but the thing is it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, we come in with a blueprint, and that's why I like to say, we have our maze. Life is a maze that we go through. That's the blueprint that we set up for ourselves, and we have our objective. We're trying to get through the blueprint. We're trying to get through the life that we set up for ourselves, and we have our guidance system, and that's where our guides are working there trying to help us, and they're directing us, okay, go here, go here, go here, sending us messages, and they can talk to us, they can send us signs, they can talk to our bodies, however they can do it, whatever ways they can do whatever we want them to. And And there's all these different ways of doing it. And then, sometimes what we do, we don't listen to them. And sometimes we just get stuck. And that's many of the times, that's why they'll use the bodies, is because we just get stuck because we're not listening. We just sit down and we just won't move. And we get upset and angry. And we just kick our feet and just scream and cry and won't do anything. And we just get angry.
So we just have to look at ourselves. That's what.
And we think we just say, I just failed and I didn't do anything. And our guidance system wants us to do is just do something. If we'll just start moving, because like I like to say is a system in motion is easier to move than a system not in motion. When you're sitting, that's hard to get moving. But if you're moving, it's easier to guide you. So if you'll just do something, even if it's not the right thing, that's easier to move. So it's like, just do something, anything. Okay. Then they can start steering you again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Because I've heard that before, and I've been thinking about that. Because I think it has to do with changing perspective and get out of your mind, because you're sitting there giving up or just going on the same thoughts, and you just need to shift to see something new, and that can lead you. Yeah,
absolutely. And on that, when you did your neck like that, and that's a very good thing. So that's what the neck means.
Oh,
okay. Because that's what the neck does. It changes your perspective.
Right.
So anything with the neck, because it's moving the head, which moves the eyes, which is the perspective.
Right.
It's where the eyes are looking.
So have you experienced anything of this yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. And it always works better. Like I said, the process is, it works better when you can talk to your body as soon as you know something's going on, and this is not easy. None of it is. This is all learning. This is all part of the human growth process. But it's just how it works. It's all, it's part of the connection. It's part of what we do and how we're working with ourselves. But it's just talking to ourselves, it's talking to your body, like the part that is hurting, that is trying to communicate.
You're just speaking to
direction, like with you talk to it, you talk to the part of the body, which is also, or you talk directly to the big you. But by talking to your body, you are talking to the big you, because that part is connected to the big you, right? Because that's how it's communicating. So by doing that, it is connecting right to the big you. So you can do either one. And what you say is, what are you trying to tell me? What do you want me to know? And you just get quiet and you keep asking that. And the first thing you hear, you just listen, get quiet. It will tell you. And the first thing you hear, that's it.
The first thing you hear.
Trust it. Trust it. First, you may not want to believe it. No. But remember, accept, allow. Because we always, that wasn't it. And if you didn't hear anything, then trust if somebody else may come up to you and say something. And you want to trust that too. There's different ways of receiving information. Just like there's different ways of receiving information otherwise, Other people may come up and give you the information that you need, In general, like you may get information through dreams. You may get information with people coming up to you off the street, off the TV, off the radio. You'll get the information you need. But then it'll be verified. It'll be confirmed for you.
Yeah.
And then you act on that. And then you start moving. Like I say, it is a movement in direction. Well, then start changing your direction. Start acting on what you hear. And as you shift, you will see your body change. You will see the pain shifting. And as it'll change completely. All the pain or whatever, the illness, whatever's going on, it will stop. Yeah, as soon as you get the message, as soon as the message has been received, delivered, and acted upon, the message has to go, it will go away. Everything stopped because there's no more need for the message. It has to stop. So you're healed. See, you're healed. Hallelujah. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I don't mean it to sound trite, but that's why you get instantaneous healing. It's because it was only a messaging system in the first place.
Yeah.
So now there's no more need for the message. See?
It does make sense, and I really want it to be true. My left brain is, still like a little bit skeptical,
Sure.
but a part of me is believing it. But what about when people are saying it's the flu season? We all get the flu, What about that? Or, what is it called? When we get contagious diseases? Yeah, in lack of better words. What is that about?
That's called we are powerful co-creators.
Okay.
And did you hear what you just said?
No, what?
It's this flu season and we all get the flu.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean.
And these are contagious diseases and we all get them.
Yeah. Right. So
and another thing is if you feel like you need a rest and you want a rest, then you're going to grab the next thing that comes by.
Right.
You'll do it because you want it. If you want a rest, you're going to grab it.
Okay.
And if you want to prove that's, how can I word this where it's not? Everybody else is getting it. Then you say to yourself, I don't have time to be sick. I don't have time for that. You won't get it.
Okay. So you can say it consciously and just demanding, that to be true.
You say, I don't have time for it. I got other things. I don't have time for it. That's not in my world.
And not spend energy on it, maybe.
It's not in my belief system that I will get that. I do not have time for it. I'm too busy. It's not my belief.
And I love these perspectives because it just shows how powerful our minds are.
Absolutely.
And that it should really be tried out in a way before we say, no, I don't believe in that. Because what if it's really like that? That's what I am doing with the series. What if it is like that we are attracting what we are thinking about, the focusing on? Why don't try it out and see, if your life will change?
Absolutely. What if you got to hurt?
Yeah.
If you got to hurt, I mean, it's just a matter of trying. You can't hurt yourself. And that's what I like to do with all this is try it, play with it. Yeah. It's not going to hurt anything. Don't be afraid of it. Yeah. You're not going to hurt anything.
So where do you think we're headed now? Are we headed into a time where this will be natural to speak about, metaphysics, and will we all get these abilities so we can actually just, I got the message, got the download?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. And that's how we get there is by not being afraid to try. Right. Go ahead and accept this as normal and know that we can do anything and it's okay to just, yes, we're creators. So play with it. So if I can do that, then maybe I can do that. Well, okay, well, let's try it.
So we're becoming more spiritual beings in a way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. More light beings, like less
light
dense?
Beings, yes. Mm-hmm. Huh. And just knowing more of what we are. Yes, we're flesh and blood, and yes, we're here 3D, but we're also, we're this and we're this. We're aware of both parts. And we're spiritual beings that happen to live in a 3D body. And we're learning how to make the two work together. And this 3D body can do great things when it accepts the 5D part of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So are we moving into another world that your mother were talking about? She had these two worlds.
Actually, we're already there.
Really? But what does it mean? Am I there now?
Yeah, you're there now. What they told me in 2011, you'll see it when you believe it.
And do you see it?
Yeah, it's just a matter of, excuse me, just being aware. Because, and it's one of those things, like you were saying a while ago, you have to, like when you look back, like 5 years ago, you can see how you have different concepts now than you had different then. And that's kind of how you have to do this. When you look back, you have to go backwards and then come back forward, and you'll realize that you're in a different world than you used to be. Okay, it's kind of the same thing. You'll realize that things have been shifting, and they keep shifting, and they keep shifting. And then that's when you realize that we're in a different world.
So it's not another physical globe. It's just we're in different...
I think eventually it will be.
Okay.
I really do think eventually it will be. But right now it's so subtle. And it's the two are superimposed. And I think gradually, I think they're probably just little by little. I have the other hand here. I think little by little they just keep moving a little further apart, a little further apart. But it's so gradual and so subtle that we don't realize it really. It's just happening. But if you go back 10 years and then zoom yourself forward, fast forward, then you realize, oh yeah, things are very different. But when you do it day by day, you don't see it. But if you do that business, you're like, oh, yeah, we're different. We're very different. Mm-hmm. See, but you have to do that.
Do you think then the goal, if we are, moving into this new world now, do you think it will be an end of incarnating? Or what is my question here? I'm wondering if, in a way, this will be my last incarnation on planet Earth. And if I will move on to different planets because I'm kind of done with this, because I've heard that some are just repeating the cycle over and over again because they haven't, learned their lessons, or they're very dense in their energy. And I kind of feel like I want to move on, to different stages.
Yeah.
So is that a goal to kind of get out of the Earth reincarnation cycle?
I know there were a lot of different answers to that Mom got in her different sessions, and I don't know if I have a good answer for that, but I'll do the best I can here. My understanding is when this is all complete, one, yes, we'll have a 5D version of this, which is where we're pretty much we're in there now, or we're going there. The ones that the 3D low density version, it's like that won't be here anymore, and those that want to stay in that low vibration karmic, they'll go someplace else. So that version won't even be here anymore. So yeah, if you're wanting to do that game won't exist here anymore. So you're right. You can't even do that game here anymore. So gone.
So they have another globe or planet that they will go to in a way.
Yeah, so that game's correct. They'll go someplace else. There's apparently other planets that will have the karma and the negativity and that going on someplace else. Okay. So that'll be done somewhere else. When those that are from the 5D, when they're done here, and I see, because apparently the 5D here will take on a whole different thing. We'll be able to live longer lifetimes, and we'll be able to do different things. So I'm not sure, we'll be able to determine the lifetime. So, and because it's going to go into light beings and all that thing, and then I guess we'll go into other dimensions and things there. So we'll keep doing lifetimes. It's not the end of lifetimes, but it may go into other, it may be the end of our Earth times. I don't know. But it goes on. Yeah. But we've been on other dimensions and other planets before too. So.
Right.
Yeah. Earth has just moved into her next incarnation. So.
Oh, right. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that, this is at the secondary, primary school, second grade, and then we're moving on. But the Earth is actually going to the next step.
Right. Yeah. And, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it will kind of be very attractive to come to Earth then.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting.
And that's really been the they said that's what's been so attractive is everybody wanted to be here when this happened. It was like this was the biggest show on earth, front row tickets to be here when this was going on.
And this huge shift. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd heard that it's very special in the universe, this shift that we're going through.
Right.
A wonderful show is going on Earth right now.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, this was very interesting. Thank you so much, Julia. What is your work now these days? Like, are you traveling or what is happening?
I am traveling. I'm carrying on Mom's work. We're still expanding on the classes. We have the online classes continuing, and then I'm trying. In fact, tomorrow I leave for Australia to do a level 2 class, and then and so we're doing those and continuing those, and then we're continuing the conferences, and then I'll be starting some Soul Speak workshops, probably online, and
wonderful. Well,
so expanding on my own work, and just keep on.
Well, hopefully we'll see you one day in Scandinavia, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be wonderful.
Yeah, it will. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking time, and good luck with everything you're doing and your wonderful work, and I will definitely follow it.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching, guys. Much light from Oslo. Bye-bye.